It was a calm Tuesday evening along Cuba's eastern coast. The ocean shimmered beneath the fading light. Fishermen mended their nets in Baracoa, and children played by the docks. Families sat outside their homes, unaware that the world around them was about to change forever. Far away over the Caribbean, meteorologists stared at satellite images of a swirling monster, Hurricane Melissa. Just a day earlier, it had ripped across Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane with winds near 180 miles per hour, flattening towns and flooding entire communities. Now, the storm's path pointed directly at Cuba. As the storm strengthened over the warm Caribbean waters, authorities raised the island's highest alert. Shelters opened. Military trucks rolled through the streets with loudspeakers warning, "This is not a drill. Prepare for impact."
Mi casa, amiga.
Across Cuba's eastern provinces, families boarded up their windows and tied down their roofs. But the sky was already darkening. The wind carried the smell of the sea, heavy and electric. By midnight, waves began crashing against the seawalls of Santiago de Cuba. The ocean rose higher, swallowing the coastal roads inch by inch. And then, everything went silent. At 3:40 a.m., the silence broke. Hurricane Melissa slammed into Cuba's coast near Guantanamo province. Sustained winds tore across the land at over 190 kilometers per hour, gusting above 220. Walls shook, palm trees snapped, metal roofs screamed as they were ripped away. Entire fishing villages vanished beneath walls of seawater up to 15 feet high. Along the famous Malecon seawall, waves crashed through concrete barriers as if they were made of sand. Residents said it sounded like the ocean was roaring, not with water, but with fire. By sunrise, chaos ruled. Cuba's power grid collapsed. Communication towers crumbled. More than 85% of the eastern region was plunged into darkness. Streets turned into rivers. Cars floated. People clung to door frames and balconies, shouting through the wind for help. In one shelter, a teacher described the noise. It wasn't thunder. It was the earth itself screaming. But Melissa was only beginning.
Construction here, totally demolished. It's gone down.
Moving at less than 10 kilometers per hour, the hurricane stalled over Cuba's mountainous interior, dumping unimaginable amounts of rain, up to 650 millimeters in 24 hours. Rivers overflowed, swallowing bridges and homes. Landslides crashed down from the Sierra Maestra Mountains, cutting entire villages off from the world. Coffee plantations and citrus groves were flattened, their crops drowned beneath brown, churning water. Roads disappeared under torrents of mud and debris, making rescue almost impossible. Cuba was a nation under siege. More than 735,000 people had been evacuated, but many still waited for help. The Cuban army deployed hundreds of emergency units, soldiers, engineers, medics, moving through waist-deep floods to rescue stranded families. Helicopters circled the skies, dropping food and medical supplies to those trapped in the countryside. In the cities, churches and schools became overcrowded shelters. Families huddled in the dark, clutching flashlights, listening to the storm's endless roar. Even as communication lines failed and fuel ran out, Cuba's civil defense worked with discipline and speed, clearing blocked roads, delivering clean water, and saving lives one by one. By morning, the true scale of destruction emerged. Highways were gone, power substations were underwater, entire bridges had collapsed, ports were closed, and ships drifted broken along the shore. Fuel and food deliveries stopped. Hospitals ran on emergency generators. The storm didn't just flood Cuba's land, it flooded its economy. Coffee, citrus, and sugar plantations, the pillars of Cuba's agriculture, were destroyed. Experts warned that recovery could take years. As the winds faded, the world began to respond. The United Nations, Red Cross, and neighboring countries like Mexico and Spain sent emergency aid, food, generators, and medical supplies. Volunteers from across the island came together to rebuild. Soldiers cleared debris, while neighbors shared food and candles. Doctors and nurses worked by flashlight, treating the injured for days without rest. In the ruins of homes and schools, hope flickered again. One volunteer said, "We lost everything, but we didn't lose each other." In the weeks that followed, the environmental toll became clear. Entire hillsides had collapsed. Rivers ran brown with silt and debris. Saltwater intrusion poisoned wells and aquifers. Wildlife reserves along the eastern coast were left underwater, their mangroves torn apart, coral reefs buried under sediment. Farmland that once produced vital crops lay barren and broken. Cuba's fragile ecosystem had taken a hit that would take generations to heal. Economically, the blow was just as severe. Ports were crippled, sugar and nickel exports halted, and tourism, already weakened, came to a standstill.
Para que le eche triple no la llamen. Yo lo vendré a ganar y yo me...
Fireman up here to rescue work. People get trapped in a house.
Max, come back here!
Keep moving, stay to the left.
Both ready, one at a time. Easy, watch your step. There you go. Sir, take my hand. We're almost there.
Thank you, thank you.
The government estimated damages exceeding $3 billion. Entire communities faced food shortages, isolation, and the challenge of rebuilding from the ground up. Yet amid all the destruction, Cuba's spirit refused to break. From Havana to Santiago, people began rebuilding, one nail, one wall, one home at a time. Children helped distribute water and food to the elderly. Families shared whatever they had left. In Baracoa, a Cuban flag fluttered above a half-collapsed house, a symbol of defiance and unity. Meteorologists say Hurricane Melissa will go down as one of the strongest storms in modern Caribbean history. Scientists link its power to rising ocean temperatures, fueled by El Niño and the growing influence of climate change. And 2025's hurricane season is far from over. Storms like Melissa are no longer rare. They are the new normal, stronger, wetter, and slower moving than ever before. But the people of Cuba know what it means to endure. They have lived through decades of storms, and each time they have rebuilt stronger. As one survivor put it, Melissa destroyed everything we owned, but not who we are. In the end, the story of Hurricane Melissa is not just about destruction. It's about resilience. It's about a nation standing together against nature's fury, proving that even when the sea rises and the sky falls, humanity endures. Because when the storm passes and silence returns, what remains is hope, and the will to rebuild again and again.